Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. For decades, we believed that great ideas were born from physical closeness. The shared office, the bustling hallway, the chance encounter at the water cooler, these were the places where innovation happened. This idea is rooted in the psychology of proximity, the study of how physical distance shapes our relationships and creativity. But the recent global shift to remote work has completely upended this model, forcing us to ask a fundamental question: do we really need to be in the same room to create the future? It turns out the answer is more complex and far more interesting than we ever imagined. We're not just working from home, we're rewriting the rules of collaboration itself. At the heart of the old way of thinking is a concept developed in the 1970s by MIT professor Thomas J. Allen, known as the Allen curve. Picture the typical office of that era. Allen's research revealed a stark, undeniable pattern. The further apart two colleagues were physically, the less frequently they communicated. It wasn't a gentle, gradual decline either. The Allen curve shows a dramatic drop-off in regular communication once the distance between people exceeds about 50 meters, or roughly 160 feet. Beyond that point, the chance of a regular weekly chat approaches zero. Think about that. Someone on a different floor might as well have been in a different building. This wasn't just about missing out on office gossip. It was about missing out on the spontaneous, unplanned interactions that are often the very seeds of groundbreaking ideas. These are the productive accidents or serendipitous encounters you hear about. A programmer mentions a bug to a designer in the coffee line, and that casual chat leads to a revolutionary new user interface. A marketer overhears a conversation between engineers and realizes a new way to position a product. Proximity fosters familiarity, trust, and a shared sense of experience, the bedrock of effective teamwork. The traditional office was, often without us even realizing it, engineered to maximize these collisions. Open-plan layouts, communal kitchens, and even the strategic placement of printers were all designed to increase the probability of these casual, creative conversations. The underlying belief was simple and powerful. Innovation is a contact sport. Then, the world changed. The widespread, almost overnight adoption of remote work during the pandemic fundamentally challenged this long-held belief. With teams suddenly scattered across cities, countries, and continents, the physical proximity that the Allen curve celebrated simply vanished. This created a set of well-documented challenges for innovation. The most immediate casualty was the loss of those unplanned conversations. The digital world is, by its nature, more scheduled and purpose-driven. You don't accidentally bump into your boss on a Zoom call. Communication becomes a series of appointments, leaving little room for the kind of free-flowing, informal exchanges that spark new thinking. Beyond that, virtual interactions, for all their convenience, can be surprisingly restrictive. They lack the richness of face-to-face communication. We lose the subtle nonverbal cues, the slight nod, the raised eyebrow, the shared glance, that add layers of meaning to our conversations. This can lead to misunderstandings and a more constrained cognitive focus, hindering the kind of associative, big-picture thinking that creativity thrives on. This digital distance also fosters a profound sense of social isolation. Without the daily rhythm of in-person contact, employees can feel disconnected from their colleagues and the wider company culture. This erodes the trust and psychological safety that are absolutely essential for innovation. If you feel like a distant, disconnected node in a network, are you really going to risk sharing a wild, half-formed idea? Probably not. You're more likely to keep your head down and stick to the task at hand. And in hybrid models, where some employees are in the office and others are remote, a new and insidious problem has emerged: proximity bias. This is the natural human tendency for managers to favor employees they can physically see. The thinking is often unconscious and based on the outdated idea that presence equals productivity. This bias means remote employees can be overlooked for promotions, receive less feedback, and feel excluded from key decisions, effectively shutting down their innovative potential. But despite these significant hurdles, the shift to remote and hybrid work is not the death knell for innovation. In fact, it's forcing organizations to be more intentional and far more creative in how they foster new ideas. A new psychology of digital proximity is emerging, one that uses technology and deliberate practices to replicate, and in some cases even improve upon, the benefits of physical closeness. The absolute foundation of this new approach, whether in person or remote, is psychological safety. This is the shared belief among a team that it's safe to take interpersonal risks. It's the feeling that you can propose a crazy idea, admit a mistake, or ask a question without fear of being embarrassed or punished. In a virtual setting, where trust is harder to build, leaders must be incredibly deliberate in creating this environment. It starts with leading by example. When a leader openly discusses their own struggles or admits when they don't have the answer, they give their team permission to be vulnerable too. It means actively listening, not interrupting, and welcoming all feedback, especially critical feedback. It's about celebrating effectiveness, not just a frantic sense of efficiency. To combat the loss of random chats, companies are now consciously engineering serendipity by creating, quote, virtual water coolers. These are digital spaces designed specifically for informal, non-work-related conversations. This can be as simple as a dedicated channel on Slack or Microsoft Teams for sharing pictures of pets, discussing hobbies, or just general chit-chat. Some companies schedule regular, informal video calls, virtual coffee breaks, or happy hours, with the explicit rule that no work is to be discussed. The goal is simply to connect on a personal level. Others use gamification to inject fun and camaraderie, using tools like water cooler trivia to spark laughter and friendly competition, as seen at companies like Spotify and Amazon. Perhaps one of the most powerful shifts has been the rise of asynchronous brainstorming. Traditional in-person brainstorming sessions have their place, but they can often be dominated by the loudest or most senior voices in the room. Asynchronous brainstorming flips this on its head. Using shared digital whiteboards like Mural or Miro, or even simple Google Docs, a problem is posed, and team members are given a set period, maybe a day or two, to contribute their ideas independently, on their own time. This approach has several profound advantages. First, it allows for deeper reflection. Instead of being put on the spot, people have the time to let ideas marinate, leading to more thoughtful and well-developed contributions. Second, it's incredibly inclusive. Introverted team members, or those who simply need more time to process, are given an equal platform to share their best thinking without having to compete for airtime. Finally, it reduces the risk of groupthink, where early ideas anchor the entire conversation. The result is often a wider, more diverse range of creative solutions. In this new landscape, the role of leadership has to evolve dramatically. The old model of managing by walking around is obsolete. Leaders must shift their focus from monitoring activities, like whether someone is online, to measuring outcomes. This requires a culture built on trust and autonomy. Leaders need to become masters of digital facilitation, using tools to ensure collaboration is seamless and communication is clear. Their most important job is to intentionally create that sense of connection and shared purpose that no longer happens by default. The physical office isn't disappearing, but its purpose is being completely reimagined. It's no longer the default place for solo work. Instead, the office of the future is becoming a social destination, a hub for the kinds of activities that are harder to do remotely. Think collaborative workshops, team-building events, and large-scale brainstorming sessions. These new offices are being designed for flexibility and adaptability, with a variety of settings to support different kinds of work, from quiet focus zones to dynamic interactive project rooms. The emphasis is on creating an environment that pulls people in, not a place they are required to be. This isn't just a theory. Many forward-thinking companies have already proven that a remote-first approach can be a powerful engine for innovation. Basecamp, a pioneer of remote work for over 2 decades, has built its entire philosophy around a results-oriented culture, proving that remote teams can be incredibly innovative. The platform Zapier, which connects thousands of web apps, embraced a remote-first model to access a global talent pool, building a diverse team that fuels its creative capacity. GitLab, a fully remote company that went public with a high valuation, credits its success to meticulous documentation and transparent processes, which create a single source of truth that allows their global team to function seamlessly. Shopify adopted a digital by default approach, using remote work as a strategic advantage to attract the best talent from anywhere in the world. And Automatic, the parent company of WordPress.com, has been remote first since 2005, proving that a decentralized team can scale globally and drive massive innovation. The great remote work experiment hasn't killed the psychology of proximity. It has expanded our understanding of it. We are learning that proximity isn't just about physical miles. It's about psychological and social closeness. In the absence of a shared physical space, we are finding new, intentional ways to create connection, shared purpose, and creative energy. The future of innovation isn't a binary choice between the office and home. It's a thoughtful hybrid that leverages the best of both worlds: the deep, focused work that remote settings enable, and the collaborative, social energy that a well-designed physical office can provide. Innovation is not confined to the 4 walls of an office building. It is a dynamic human process that can be nurtured and cultivated in any environment, as long as we are willing to let go of old assumptions and intentionally build the connected future we want to be a part of. Thank you for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.